And I had one of these priests say to me, well, you're a great believer in environment. I said, I'm not a believer in it. I accept environment as a major area that sets our values, your schools, your social institutions. So a priest said to me, I know 2 kids from the same home. One turned out to be a gangster, the other a minister. So if environment is everything, how do you get that difference? It's very simple. The minute you pick up the younger kid and play with it, and that 8-year-old is turning with the lip out, you make jealousy and envy. You walk over to the little girl and say, why can't you be like your sister? She puts everything in her way. I have to pick up after you. Then when your sister falls down and says, slight grin on her face. And nobody knows why. Because they don't know how to raise children. So I just want to tell you that there are ways of raising children. I wanted to communicate with my little boy when he was 3 months old. That's before he can talk. So I put a rubber squeegee on the end of his crib, yellow, very bright, an atomizer bulb that you blow perfume through or anything. I put it at the end of the crib. I knew that kid would crawl over and grab it because it's new in the crib. You don't have to reason anything out. And he crawled over eventually and grabbed it. When he grabbed it, lights were on a circle above the crib. And he was so amused he let go because he didn't know that controlled it. Then when he let go, that lower lip went up. And he started to cry, see? It took him a long time before, he squeezed it many times before he realized that controlled those lights. Then I put one at the other end of the crib, and I knew immediately the whole situation would be now associative memory. The kid would crawl and grab the other one, and when he did and he looked up, nothing happened up there. But on the wall, lights went up and down. So that controlled that system, that wouldn't control this system. By the time he was 4 or 5 months old, I had 6 bulbs in there. He was controlling different things. So I never taught my kids how to read or write or anything, but what I did is I read to them at night about things, say with my little boy, things little boys are interested in, dinosaurs, animals, you know. And when it became the most interesting part of the book, I'd close it. He said, Daddy, that's the most interesting part of the book. I said, tomorrow I'll continue. Then I said, why don't you learn to read? And then you can read as much as you want to. Don't teach kids how to read. The little boy and the sheep walked along the road. On the way they met a cow. This is really roboticism. Terrible things to do. Teachers don't know how to teach. Would you mind getting me a pencil and paper? Thank you, Roxy. They don't know how to teach because they don't know what learning is. They really don't know. Not that they're bad. Let me give you an idea. I usually ask kids from 4 to 6 years old, so you can see this, you'd have to be able to see it, to draw a picture of a person, 4 to 6. And they usually, 90% of the time, do this.
We're looking at a stick figure here with a little smiley face.
Then I say, is there anything you can add to that? They usually draw this.
There's a stick figure house.
Then I say, is there anything else you can add to it? And they draw a circle like this.
Oh,
and they put lines coming out
Yep.
there like that. I'm sure you've seen that before. And the teacher hangs that up, or she gives them some crayon to color it. And the teacher also says something like this. This is the way we spell cat. The kid says, oh. And he comes back with this. The teacher says, that isn't right. That's wrong. That's wrong tells you nothing. That's just words. She's unpleasant also. That's wrong. When my kids do that, I say, very close, isn't it? Not wrong. We just change this to this. And the kid says, oh, and he comes back with this. Can you see it all right? Mm-hmm. Much closer, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're getting there, very close. Turn this around so the A can fit in. You say whatever you have to say to make the point. Not that isn't what I told you. I told you this. So all bawling out, language, hostility does nothing. The Venus Project is not about architecture. It's about a way of thinking, a different kind of life. So the people of the future will not collect our stuff at all because it's not interesting. It's boring, repetitive. We think we're civilized. There's no such thing as civilized people. There's no such thing as intelligent people. An intelligent electrical engineer of 75 years ago couldn't get a job today. So the process called intelligence is an ongoing process. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There's no such thing as civilization because it too is an ongoing process. So all cultures of the future will be emergent cultures in the process of change, always. There's no utopia. The best city, even the cities I design, will be a straitjacket to the kids of the future. They will design their own cities. But if you make a statue of Fresco and put it in a city, it'll hold it back. They'll be looking to Fresco's designs. Do you understand what I mean? There are no heroes, no great men. All the myth of great man, the great man speaks. See? And so we live in a society of egocentric patterns. Of architects designed the tallest building in the world. For what? And at 4 o'clock, everybody gets off at the same time. The roads are jammed suddenly. In Florida, you have Key Biscayne. Very few people during the week, but on Saturday and Sunday, jam. So they build more freeways. If 1/7 of the population's off every day of the week, nothing is ever jammed. And you don't have to build freeways. But that's bad for business. So the whole system stinks. Your schools, your institutions. When I say stinks, it's inadequate. It's not as good as it can be. So when I say these recommendations for the future will free people from boring jobs. Oh, a waitress said to me, what would I do in your society? I'm a waitress. Would I wait on tables? I said, no, there's no more subservient behavior. No more servitude. She said, well, who delivers the food? Who does the dirty work? I said, the minute you sit at a table, the menu lights up. It's built in the seat. And you can't see the menu because it's beautiful pictures on the table. Then you verbalize what you want for food, or you dial what you want. It's up to you. The food, there's no such thing as junk food. Now, I don't know if you know this, but if you want to design a machine to do the work of people, they usually have a guy spray rubber underneath the car so the rain won't drive you crazy. It's sprayed on the metal to dampen sound. But the guy has to take the gun and spray the bottom of the car, and then the computer picks it up. First, a man has to, then the computer will do that forever. So we have Chef Milani, one of the best cooks in the world, cook food once in front of a computer. This is an engineered system. And it'll make bacon and eggs. See, you got every mother, every goddamn morning making bacon and eggs. How stupid can you be? And then they got a kitchen in every home. Rather than community dining of all kinds of food, you don't have to do that. People with a washing machine, you have thousands of washing machines. Clothing can be designed to be engineered clean and repel dust and dirt and contaminants and living organisms. Did you know that? There's a micro-etch process today that keeps surfaces from being wet. They never get wet. So, in other words, there's so much to be done, so many wonderful things. Somebody said to me, well, wouldn't everybody be alike living in your kind of cities? I said, yes, they will be alike. They'll all hate war. They'll all volunteer not to destroy the environment and wouldn't want to hurt one another. And they all will dislike prize fights, wrestling matches, wherever people hurt each other. All they'll be alike that way. Okay? There's nothing matter with people being alike if they're alike in a sane way. Do you follow me? We have associations like, wouldn't everybody be alike as a bad thing? They are alike today. Everybody seems to be absolutely uniform. They get married, they want a house in the country with chickens, and they want a car, and maybe a car for their daughter, and enough money to send their kids to college. All of that is built in. No more women's rights, black rights, Jewish rights, Polish rights. Everyone has access to all the necessities of life, and education as well, and health care, without calling on. They ask you today to write you, Congressman. You hear that crap? Did you ever travel first class on an ocean liner? Well, take my word. They know their business, the pilot. He knows how to get there. When it takes you to Hawaii, you don't see icebergs on the way. Write your captain, tell him you're going in the wrong direction. He's on that job because the navigator and the pilots and everybody on that ship always ask you, would you like some applesauce or any sandwich now? Everybody there's there to please you. Same with an airplane. You don't have to write the pilot. You're flying at an angle for 2 hours straightened up. They know their business. So the government of the future is electronically redundant so it can handle any problem, including earthquakes. We will learn eventually how to control the weather. We will eventually learn how to control the tsunamis, all the things that give us problems. That's where our attention should be. How to get rid of AIDS, disease, crimes of all kinds. So there is a guy called Jeffrey Dahmer. You ever hear of him?
Yes.
The public hated his guts. Before Jeffrey Dahmer, in my time, there was Albert Fish.